Hi and welcome to the Prumihimo channel in lockdown. And I'm going to take this opportunity to produce a series of short videos, all in one take, to introduce to you the tips and tricks and methods that have helped me in over a decade of braiding. And this video is going to concentrate on how to identify and reverse the spiral created in a round braid. The particular braid I'm talking about is round braid, which is also known as Congo gumi, on the round disc, and it's the 8-chord version of this. Now, there are different ways of achieving similar results, so it's important to remember that what I'm talking about here relates totally to this 8-chord braid, which is, after all, the most popular Kumihimo braid of all. So, this setup is probably familiar to most people. I've got one colour at the top and bottom, and I've got another colour at the sides. And if I braid using round braid moves, which are top down, bottom up and a quarter turn, I will end up with a beautiful spiral braid like this. Now, I'm often asked, how do I know which way my spiral is going to turn? Or can I reverse it? So in this video, I'm going to show you how. So let's go back to what we see here. Now, most people, when they do this braid, will use the top right chord and the bottom left chord. Some people will start with the top right, do top right down. Other people might do bottom left up first. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter which one you do first, because they don't cross each other, they slide past each other, so it doesn't matter which one is laid down first. Then they do a turn either way. And again, this does not matter. This does not have any bearing on which way your spiral is going to turn, because look, if I turn this way, I come to this set of chords. If I turn the other way, I come to the same set of chords, the same 4 chords, and I've already established that it doesn't matter whether you do top down or bottom up first. So it's a wonderfully symmetrical braid and wonderfully forgiving for that reason. So if I do my top down, bottom up moves and my quarter turns, I end up with a beautiful spiral like this. Let's now look at an alternative. With this one, I'm actually using different chords. So it's basically the same braid, but and for this one, I'm doing top left and bottom right. I'm doing exactly the same moves, and again, it doesn't matter which way you turn, doesn't matter which one you do first. And when you braid, you will end up again with a beautiful spiral. Now, let's compare those two spirals. And if I hold them together like that, just bring those chords out of the way so you can see, whoops, you can see that the spiral goes in the opposite direction for each one. So how can you tell? How can you tell which way it's going to go? I'm going to show you an easy way. So we'll go back to example number 1. So this again, remember, top right, bottom left. This is probably the way you do it because this is the way most people do it. Now, that top right, bottom left kind of creates a diagonal. So I'm going to hold the stick across that diagonal, like that. So top right, bottom left. Now, if I bring the braid down and compare it and bring it a little bit closer, you will see that the diagonal of the stick and the diagonal on the braid are in the same direction. Now I'm going to do the same thing with the other disc. So here we go. Now this one, if you remember, we're doing top left, bottom right. I'm going to hold my stick in that diagonal. I'm going to pull the braid down so you can see it, bring it a little bit closer, and you will see there that the direction of the stick and the braid is the same. Now there's one other quick thing I'd like to say about those, because sometimes these diagonals are identified in a different way. And so I'm going back to my original one. So this is top right, down, bottom, left, up. And this is sometimes known as the Zed Spiral. And this is why, if I hold up a letter Z beside it, you can see that it's this, if you look at the sort of middle of the Z, the direction of that diagonal, it's the same as on the braid. So the most popular form of round braid is this one, and it is sometimes known as the Zed Spiral. Now I'm going to do the same thing for the other one. This is the, well, I might say the less popular braid. And this one is the top left, bottom right. So I'm holding the braid up. And now this one's known as the S spiral. So look at the S, look at the middle of the S, and you'll see that the diagonal is the same. So, can you change the direction in the braid? Oh yes, you can, and you can have some great fun with that. So here's an example. It's not so easy to see on this one because I've done rather subtle colours, but I did really love them, and that's why I did them. But look at the gold stripes, and you will see that they are going in different directions. And that means that I've changed the direction in the middle here. So that does mean that if I want to hang a pendant on there, I have a beautifully symmetrical braid. And although I'm only showing you plain braids here, the same applies to beaded braids because it's the same braid structure. And finally, I'd like to show you what happens if you keep changing to and fro. So this, which I love, is a zigzag braid, and all I've done here is braided for 32 moves in one direction with one set of cords, so I get one direction, and then I've changed to the other set of cords mid-braid and done another 32 moves, and then reverted back to the original one. So that by changing the cords, I'm changing the direction of the spiral on my braid and creating a lovely zigzag. So I hope you've enjoyed that, and I hope you found it useful. I look forward to showing you many more useful things that I believe make a difference to the way you braid, because it's understanding the structure that makes you a better braider and gives you better results. So please subscribe to my channel, turn on notifications, and then you will be notified of when I have other videos to show you. And so until then, goodbye.